Hey guys, welcome to Jujus Oracle. Welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. Thank you guys so much for your likes, shares, and subscribes. Today's message I meditated on. I asked the divine, I asked my spirit team, my ancestors to place something in front of me that they wanted me to kind of bring to my own attention and to the collective's attention. And that message is about being under construction. So right now, a lot of things are currently under construction. Us as human vessels, constantly always evolving, changing, ascending, descending, progressing, regressing. We're always changing, transforming, whether we are going forward or going backwards. And the message today is for those of us who are under construction in regards to our healing journey, in regards to taking responsibility for the way our lives are currently going, the way our lives have been in the past, and, being in the in-between, being in the space where we are taking accountability, forgiving ourselves, forgiving others from the past, and rebuilding with people, places, things, ideas, perspectives that are healthy, that are whole, that are going to bring peace, joy, abundance, and everything that is of God, that God wants us to have because it is our birthright. And so it's really about, those of us who are coming out of isolation, who really recognize what those periods of isolation are really for and can appreciate them now. And we are in a space where we don't mind being isolated, but we understand the importance of connection, but connections that are stable, connections that are going to have morals and values and integrity and principles. And moving out of isolating ourselves and really taking what we have healed and what we know now and applying that to our new version of ourselves, fearlessly and flawlessly. And know that you will come up against opposition, or rather opposition will come up against you, because knowing what you know, coming out of this isolation period and really allowing people, places, and things to give to you, because now you're in an energy where you know that it is healthy for you to receive, but you have to remember to have the proper boundaries and the proper protection in place for yourself in prayer and, regimen, spiritual regimen, mental regimen, physical regimen, whatever the case is for you. But it really should be all of those in order for you to protect yourself and establish boundaries so that the same patterns do not continuously happen, so that the enemy is not able to come up against you. And it's really about having patience and having faith in regards to any situations that are trying to manipulate your energy, manipulate energy around you. Because when you know and you understand that you are guided, you are protected, and that you have learned your lesson, which is the ultimate factor that is guiding you and that is protecting you, because you've learned the lesson, right? And you're now moving from a space of your higher self. You're not moving from a space of ego. You've already given any problems to God, right? You've already prayed about it. You've already meditated about it. You've already cut cords from the situation. You've already released the situation. You're ready to move forward. And if people, places, and things feel left out in regards to that, or they feel a certain type of way in regards to that, that is a personal problem for them. That is something that they still have yet to heal from and go to God about. And they don't even recognize that you are just being used as a vessel from God in order to show them their own shadows and fears and limitations that they have placed upon their lives and the people in their lives, including you. These people will try to dim your light. These are those same exact type of people. But you have to continuously pivot and move around that and understand and know that you're guided. You done a lot of work in order to get to this spot to where you shall not be moved. You cannot be moved. You will not be moved. You deserve this. This is your birthright. And you've done the work in order for you to recognize that, and you have a different perspective. And it's just like, at this point in your journey, you should realize that anybody that hasn't realized that in their own lives, and they are it's causing them to act out, and you recognize this is just a factor of that. The lower vibrational behaviors, thoughts, all of that petty drama, chaos, those emotions, and those just things that don't matter, right? You have a higher perspective on that now, being as though you've done the work and you've been isolated and you've really recognized you've already, cut cords with what you needed to cut cords with. And there still may be certain people who have different titles and their meat suit allows them some sort of importance or whatever the case is, but that doesn't mean that you have to regress in your work and in your position. And it's really about fighting against the fact that there is going to be people, places, and things that do not want to see you progress, that do not want to see you move forward. And you can tell this just by the energy. You can tell this just by the way people react to you. You know intuitively who is not for you, what is not for you. And if anybody is trying to make you feel less than, make you feel like you want to give up on your hopes and dreams, make you feel like there's no reason to move forward, even if they're not saying certain things or doing certain things, but just being around them, it causes you to be in that energy, right? That is manipulating your own energy, because you know what is good for you. You know what it is that you're being led to do. You know what it is that you're being guided to do. So you also, on the other hand, know what it is that you're being led from. Know what it is, who needs to have less of your time, who needs to have less of your attention, who needs to have less of your resources, because in the past when you were, willy-nilly with your resources, your time, your energy, they didn't appreciate it. They spent it unwisely. They disrespected it. They didn't, know what to do with it, whatever the case was. So again, like I just said, these are situations, scenarios, patterns, behaviors that we have already isolated and healed from. So at this point in time, we know how to spot it in these same people and in others. It's the people who are still mentally stuck, who still have not yet awakened and seen themselves the way God sees them. They still have no relationship with God. The people, because be clear, even though I have so much conviction in my voice, I always make it clear that I'm not on here preaching to anybody. I ask spirit for myself too. I do the work every day. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm not perfect. So this is information that I live by for myself, because it's easy to say that you're this thing, but again, we fight not against flesh and blood. And that's why, like I say, I'm here for the divine, because I need God just as much as the next person does, to make sure that I'm on the right path, to make sure that I don't get steered to go down the wrong path by people, places, and things, and myself included, right? And it's going to take you realizing what patterns and what behaviors, again, it's going to take those boundaries, those really recognizing what it is that you've been through and saying, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to experience that again. And you don't have to hyper focus on it. Of course, you don't want to hyper focus on it, because you should be in a space now to where your inner dialogue is telling you positive things. Work on changing those negative thoughts and feelings in transmuting them and thinking of higher vibrational thoughts and feelings, aka affirmations. But the people that have not yet awakened to their power and to really allow themselves to see themselves the way that God sees them, and they're not, they don't even want to do that. They're not ready to do the work, and that's understandable. But what the purpose is go be with people who are also aligned with you, right? Because what do we, as the divine ones, as the chosen ones, because we have chosen to wear the crown, because we have chosen to do the work, because we have chosen to have faith, because we have chosen to believe in God and the Most High and our ancestors, our spirit guides, and most importantly, ourselves, the vessel that is here every day, that has to do the work, that has to transmute these negative energies, all this negativity on the news, on social media, being earthbound. It's not easy, right? And so you have to choose to be chosen. And a lot of people don't understand that it's a state of mind. We're all God's people, but do we all recognize that? Do we all move like that? Even the ones who are exalted, quote unquote exalted in the eyes of the divine, can forget that as well. And that's why you shouldn't allow negativity or people who have not yet experienced this type of joy, type of peace, type of relationship to deter you, to have any type of say-so when it comes to how you feel and what you decide that you want to do in your life, because you have a higher awareness now. You have a different perspective now. A lot of these people, they don't recognize that the ways in which they behave, the ways in which they wish harm upon other people, the ways in which they act as if they're still in that survival mode, they still have those reprobate thoughts and behaviors, to where it's almost impossible to be in connection or be, nearby these types of people, because in order for you to be in agreement or in alignment with these people, you would have to be out of alignment with yourself, with the Most High, with your ancestors, right? But still, the Most High, your ancestors, your spirit guides, they ask of us to hold space, to be positive, show love, be light, right? But there is also a point aside to where you need to protect yourself. You need to know what is not your energy and what is the enemy's energy, and draw that line in the sand and say, this is where I'm going to draw the line, right? That's really all it's about, because you're not in the same space that you were before. So you don't have to fight with anybody. You don't have to argue with anybody. It's all about your energy and the boundaries, and people will know. It's really just about that knowing, like, I'm under construction. You can't take me back to the place where you had me before, because fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? So being as though I'm under construction, I'm rebuilding what's coming up next. No, it's not going to be on a faulty foundation this time. It's going to be on my own understanding, my own faith, my own perspective that I've built from a healed space, and from a space to where I'm actually moving according to what makes sense to me, what pours back into me, what reciprocates my energy, what appreciates me, who appreciates me. So after that isolation period and during your rebuilding period, people, places, and things, they're going to try to throw rocks and hide their hands. Not even understanding that the first time you was throwing bricks. And what did I do with those bricks? I used those very same bricks and I built me a new foundation. So now at this point in time, you done threw all the big shit that you had. What's next? These little pebbles ain't gonna do nothing, because this foundation has already been built off the bricks that you threw the first time. You was throwing bricks and I didn't even know. By the time I finally caught on, I started taking those bricks and I built me a foundation. Now I'm under construction, under new management, and here you come back around. You see me under construction. You see me under new management, shining even brighter than I was shining before, balling even bigger than I was balling before, talking more shit than I was talking before, moving different than I was moving before. And you throwing sticks, you throwing stones, you throwing marbles. But I done already experienced bricks. And everything that you're throwing, it stands not against the bricks that you threw before. So you see what I'm saying? People have wasted time, energy, resources, going up against God's chosen ones, going up against God's plans, going up against resisting, not paying attention to their own plans, not paying attention to their own purpose. And now they're trying to double back. And it's not even the fact that they're trying to double back. It's just that they're doing the same old thing. And once you decide to pop back out, once you finally decide to come out of isolation, but it's very noticeable that you're under construction. Things are still being manifested for you. Things are still moving for you. Things are never going to stop being manifested for you. Things are never going to stop moving for you. But it's a matter of being under construction so that more and more and more and more floors can be built, right? And imagine the final architecture being this beautiful, foreign looking, just grandiose, fine skyscraper, or whatever you want your building to look like, whatever you want your house, your foundation to look like, right? But it's being built into something greater. There is no tearing it down. There is no throwing rocks and tearing up the whole thing. It never was, right? Everything, people don't understand, everything that they were throwing, boo, tomato, 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 you was in there making a salad.
Y'all better come up here and get one of these.
What's that?
It's a chicken salad.
From where?
81st Deli.
What's on it?
Superior. I got chicken, pickles, banana peppers, bell peppers, tomatoes, onions.
Like, it was never that. It was never, and it's never going to be that. Because when the hands of the divine is on your life, it doesn't matter what people say, it doesn't matter what people do, it doesn't matter what people throw. God will take it and use it for good. Your ancestors, your spirit guides, they will take it and use it for good. They will put you up on game about it, and they will take it and use it for good. And you will be blessed in front of your enemies. And they will be your footstool every single time. So it's really about that inner knowing and not allowing lower vibrational people to come back in and to tear down what you've built. And the only way that can really happen is if you decide to just leave the building altogether and just let it be condemned. And then you just think about like the karmics and all of that, and the low vibrational people. They're like the bums. They're like the squatters and the, they'll go up in that bed, they'll live for free, rent free. But they didn't do the work. They didn't want to see you doing the work. It's like that crab in a bucket mentality, right? And so when you're under construction, you really gotta make sure that you're using the right materials, right? During the construction period, that's when you budget. You're looking at the budget, what materials are within the budget, but still, going to sustain this structure, this building, this house, right? That's when you take your inventory. You're in isolation period, taking care of what needs to be taken care of, crossing your I's, dotting your T's, those types of things. That's a very important part of the final design, and how long the final design is going to sustain itself. And Spirit wants me to make it abundantly clear, and that's why I speak about, so much about relationships and psychology and all of these things on my channel, because it really does go along with God and God's plan and spirituality. When you really think about it, all of these things, they do intertwine, because your mental is how people can get in to either assist you spiritually or manipulate you spiritually into a way where you're dependent upon them or whatever they want to do, right? So it's really going to take us working on our inner strength continuously, working on our faith with the divine, our relationship with the divine, and our relationship with ourselves, because we are made in God's image, of course. And nothing can really stop you from having a relationship with God, a relationship with yourself, and walking in your purpose and your passion, but you. Right? Nobody can do that but you. The only way you can really be stopped is if you allow yourself to be hijacked by lower vibrational people, places, environments, and things that will put you in certain situations and put you in certain energies and put you in certain atmospheres and scenarios to where you really self-sabotage yourself and self-destruct. But that's ultimately not on God. And I feel like that's where a lot of people go wrong, is because they feel like God is supposed to interject in between, human will, that was never said in the Bible. God always allows us to have our own will. And so while we can't control another person or other people also can't control us. So you can't say that, when you find yourself at rock bottom, in that dark space where you feel like you have lost God, it's because you haven't been listening to God. It's because you haven't, been asking God. You haven't been praying. You haven't been talking to God. And when it comes to being under construction, being under new management, those are new territories. This is a completely new building. This is a completely new architecture. Right? This is not anything that you're used to. This is not anything that anybody outside of you is used to. It's a whole new name, a whole new look, a whole new everything. Everything new. Everything has been renewed. And that just means that there's new boundaries, there's new energy, there's a new awareness there. There's everything is new. And so it's not going to be the same old situation. You're not going to be putting up with the same old things. You're not going to be saying the same old things. You're not going to be doing the same old things. You're not going to be showing up the same old way. And for those of you, or for those people outside of you who are not okay with that, who are uncomfortable with that, that is exactly what Spirit is trying to do. If you don't know, every motivational speaker, everybody that talks about self-love and ascension and just, moving up in life, says that there's nothing in the comfort zone. It's even in the word that God pushes you to be uncomfortable when he wants you to grow. God, Jesus himself, when he walked into rooms, certain people were uncomfortable with his presence, because he calls you, when you walk in the divine, when you walk in that light, when you walk in that power, you call people to be more. You call people to do more, because you yourself are expecting that of yourself. You don't know. You might not know how you're going to get there. You might not know when you're going to get there. You might not know when you're going to get to the finish line, right? But hey, you understand that there's more to life. There's more to do. There's more to see. There's more to experience. There's nothing else matters but love. Nothing else matters but joy. Nothing else matters but wealth. Nothing else matters but abundance, and not in a negative way. I say nothing matters but wealth, but in a way to where you understand you have, like I said earlier, a higher perspective. You understand that there is more than enough for everybody to enjoy, more than enough for everybody to have fun and experience and love and laugh and all of those things. And that's another part of really walking in the knowing that you are God's child, that is your birthright. But yeah, on the other side of that, you are also able to see those who do not have that same inner knowing, those who do not walk with that same perspective. And you have a right, you have a responsibility to protect your architecture. You have a right to protect your building. You have a right to protect your skyscraper. You have a right to protect your home. This structure that is under construction, that has been under construction by the divine, by your hard work, by your resilience, by your persistence, by your knowledge, by your wisdom, by your grit, by all the little quirks and bells and whistles that is you, that makes you who you are, what you are. And if certain people don't understand this new version of you, this version of you that is under construction, but is being built to be something grand, to be something great, there's a lot of other places to go that are already built up. They can go shopping. They can go do whatever they want to do. Go look, go window shop. See what else you see out here that looks better for you. What resonates with you. Go there. Go in there. Go in those spaces. But mine is under construction, and these are the ground rules. So continue making good choices for you. Continue making good choices for the collective, and working on yourself, because the work that you do on yourself is what's really going to help you to attract people, places, things, situations, and just a lifestyle, truthfully, honestly, that is aligned with you and what you deserve, right? And the closer that you are to God, the more blessings that will be bestowed upon you. It's really just being about ignoring the fake and the fraud stuff. So I hope this inspires somebody. I hope this is confirmation to you to keep going, and that you are on the right path, as long as you continue to make decisions that are good for you and for your highest and greatest good, and that are going to assist with your ascension and assist with you really walking in that power and seeing yourself the way that God sees you. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.